I hate myself. Hi, everyone. Um, so I know I'm a little late, and the introduction just totally whatever. I've been having all kinds of technical difficulties. Shocker. So I'm just gonna bring Mark on, and we're gonna skip the intro. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Kat. Shit. Hey, Taryn.
Meow.
Yeah, no, long day. I tell
How
you
are
that.
you? I think this is
Uh,
Dustin. Looking forward to seeing it. Great. Spooky Sunday Showdown. Great way to end the weekend. Love it. I don't know who that is, but thank you. How are you this evening?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I hear you there.
It's been a long week.
Very,
Yeah. Thanks for
very, very,
joining me.
very long.
I know you're busy and have a lot of stuff going on, so thanks for still coming on.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
So for people that don't know you, out in Paranormal Brew Land, um, let's start how you got into the paranormal and everything first, and then we'll talk about how we met. And then I do want to talk about investigating cemeteries mostly
hmm
and Gettysburg, but also tell about yourself, like, your reenacting and all that stuff, everything. Just start.
Right, listen to you more than me. You're more important than I am. You're like
Oh,
the
no, no,
queen
no.
of Gettysburg.
You're my guest.
Jeez. I've been doing paranormal researching for about 3 years now, with my buddy Drew. It was during the height of COVID, and we were just talking and stuff. And like, we're kind of bored, so let's go out and do a cemetery and see what we can do. I mean, when we started, we had nothing. We didn't have much of anything. We just probably had like one or two apps
When
to
was
start
that?
out with. Huh?
When was that?
About 3 years ago,
Okay.
like 2, 3 years ago or something. It's just like started COVID or something or whatever, just the height of it or whatever. But or and then we just started from there, and then we just basically grew and started doing more cemeteries and gathering more information. I'm more of the researcher on our paranormal group,
Hmm.
so and then it just took off after that.
Is it mostly the cemeteries that you do?
Yes. We started doing buildings. We did a restaurant about a few months ago. I belong to a group called um, Midwest Parahistoric Society, which we collaborate with like 3 to 4 other paranormal groups in Southwest, Lower Michigan, Northern Indiana, and then we just do stuff from there. And for smaller investigations, it's going to be Drew and myself. We have a big one tomorrow in South Bend, Indiana, called Morris Performing Arts Center. This is going to be our biggest investigation ever, and this will be the Morris's very first investigation on their part as well. And we were honored of being the first one.
Awesome. That's
hmm
great. That's exciting.
Yes.
So not only are you in the paranormal, you
hmm
also do reenactments for numerous wars.
Yeah. Civil War in Vietnam.
Oh, so you do for two, just the
Yes.
two.
Yeah.
Why did I feel like you did? Oh, you only go to World War II stuff, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Oh,
it does go to them because my guys do World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So.
that's awesome. So I think that's
hmm
awesome. Um, but Mark shares the same passion of Gettysburg as I do. We actually were a part of this Gettysburg. What was it? Pictures or something, or
When we first started, when we first met, it was Gettysburg Visions, I believe.
Gettysburg Visions was the page,
Yeah.
and people would basically just like post like pictures and anything that had to be Gettysburg related.
No, Pictures and More was one that I forgot which one we. I think it was
The
Gettysburg Visions
Gettysburg
was when we
Visions,
first met.
yeah, yeah. So
hmm
anyway, I I don't even know how it came up in the conversation, but I just had said I had said something, and Mark, you responded saying basically didn't say paranormal. Oh, I said, "Oh, I was in Gettysburg." I said my answer to you, something like, "I was in Gettysburg with my friends who are on SRS Paranormal,
Mhm.
you know, and I have a show. You can head over there, Paranormal Brew or whatever." It was in the comments. It had nothing to, you know what I mean? It was like me and you were having
Right.
a conversation
Mhm.
separate from what the post was, but we were just talking off the side. And they literally like banned me for a couple of days from being able to post in there because I said the word paranormal.
Oh, that was in Gettysburg Visions because I was in that same one because you and I were talking about we both said the word paranormal and they went crazy on it.
Yeah,
And
so I left the
then
group. I left.
yeah, and I
And then
think I
Mark and then
followed and
I
then
messaged from Mark, and Mark's like, "I left the group too. F that." Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm like, we weren't even saying anything. Like, we
right.
were just like, all I said was, "Oh, I was just up there with my friends that were paranormal," and they were like, they lost their minds
Mhm.
over nothing. Now I was sharing their page out. Like, why wouldn't I be able to say the name of my page on there?
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk about, what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the cemetery investigations, or do you, because cemetery investigations can be quite controversial. It
It
comes up
is.
a lot, it comes up a lot during my lives. And there are some people that think there's it's stupid, to, for lack of a better
Mhm.
description. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but some people think it's like a waste of time to investigate in the cemetery because why would anybody, they're all, why would they be there? One. Also, and then on the flip side of that, you have people that swear by it. I
Mhm.
know I've been to a couple of cemeteries where there's one in particular that I go to a lot. I've never done anything in the Gettysburg cemeteries, but which is strange.
That is kind of odd.
I don't know why I haven't, but I haven't. But there's one around that is around me at Sion Cemetery. I go there a lot, but there are a couple of known supposed haunted, whatever word you want to use,
Mhm.
cemeteries that that people have. It's the people that work there that say things happen, um, and then you go out there and you get EVPs and stuff. So, I mean, so is that what you love doing the most?
Uh, Pretty much. Cemeteries just has a lot of history in them. What I would do is I look into the history of the cemetery, where when it was founded, who started it, what interesting people is buried there. Mostly we look into Revolutionary, Civil War, War of 1812. Let's see, our famous prominent people that was buried there in the town, and then we just go from there. And it's just rich in history. And then a lot of the cemeteries has folklore or legends, and then we dive into it to see if this legend is true or if this myth is true, and we just go into it. We just have fun.
Um, there's a cemetery in Philly called oh no, I was just talking about it. Um, hold on. Adrian Balboa was buried there. Uh, in the movie when they filmed it, when they filmed Rocky, when Adrian died, that's where they had her funeral. Um, uh, now I have to look it up. Darn it, I'm sorry,
Oh, you're
but
fine.
that cemetery, Laurel. No, it's not Laurel. Is it Laurel Hill? Let's see. So that cemetery, yes, that cemetery, George Meade, General Meade is buried in, and his whole family.
Oh wow, that I did not know.
Yeah, and that's near me. That's in Philly near me. It's called Laurel Hill Cemetery. And they actually have like people can go there and do like paranormal events there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So much stuff happens there. They're very open to it there. The people
Oh,
that
that's
run this cemetery. Now this cemetery is, I mean, their mausoleums are the size of houses. You could live inside of it. I'm not even
oh
kidding you.
geez.
You could fit like 3 tiny houses inside of some of these mausoleums. They're so, I mean, the architecture of these tombstones and the mausoleums is you could go there just for the photography alone. And I know that kind of sounds, I don't know how people feel about that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I think you're paying respects. You know what I mean? You're not doing anything. You're not hurting anything, you know?
Right.
But some of the stones and the tombstones and the markers are just, they're so beautiful,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, a lot of them are elaborate. Some are plain, but a lot of them are pretty cool looking. Well, we
Yeah.
always like going into the old section.
Yeah. Do you find that do you get more activity with being in, in an older cemetery versus
Oh,
one that's
yeah, I think we do. We gone to a few that were a little bit newer. We get some activity, but mostly we just stay into the older section because we just think that people wants to be heard and hear what they have to say or want to be recognized or stuff. So that's pretty much why we go into the older section. And plus, it's always interesting seeing the older headstones, what they look like, and when they died and when they were born and stuff. So
sometimes they're so hard to read. Like,
yes,
I always forget to bring pencil and paper. You know what I mean?
hmm,
'Cause you can always just scribble over the paper to try to see what it says.
right.
Um, which I think is interesting to do, you know? Um, Mark Nesbitt did that with some of the markers inside the cemetery. Um, and he has them hanging up in his store in Gettysburg. Did you go in there?
I have not.
Oh, you were just there.
Yeah, just for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I was more into the battlefield. I went to a few stores, but mostly just to get stuff for the family. And but I was mostly more into just staying on the battlefield as much as I can.
But
But
why do you think the older part of cemeteries, we'll get back to that, sorry. I'll digress. If we start talking about Gettysburg, I'll start talking about something totally different.
no, we
So,
can talk about Gettysburg all night if you want.
we'll get to Gettysburg. Um, but, why do you feel that the older part of cemeteries are I mean, you said, you think they just wanna be heard, but, like
Yeah, they want to be heard. They want to be like recognized. They want to be they want people to know that who they are, their stories, and like everyone wants to go into the newer section. But I think the older section has a lot of what's that word I'm trying to um, see more um, elaborate and stuff. Or I can't even talk right now. But yeah, I think older cemeteries are much more cooler than
oh, they
more
are by
history and
far.
stuff. So
Oh, I
mostly they
agree.
just want to get recognized and be like, "Hey, I'm here as well. Remember me and what they've done." Or
Mhm.
what, so
So, have you ever you have EVPs and stuff from cemeteries? You get
yeah,
like, have you gotten so what would be like your most, would you say left a little thing in your brain that one of your favorite EVPs you gotten from a cemetery?
uh, we had one cemetery that we went into. We've done this cemetery like 4 times. Cemetery called Riverside Cemetery in Dowagiac, Michigan. That one is around what 10,000 memorials there, and that place is just chock full of history. A lot of interesting people are buried there. One person buried there actually cut Abraham Lincoln's hair. He's buried there. Several ton of Civil War soldiers, a few Berdan sharpshooters are buried there. Revolutionary. There's one mausoleum there that one person was on the Titanic at that time.
Oh,
Yeah, survived.
that's cool.
So he's buried there.
Do they have like something marked on one of on the tombstones?
No, no, it's you have to look. You have to like do research on him. But
Oh, okay.
his whole family is buried in his mausoleum. But the kicker is his his wife is not buried with him. She's buried in another cemetery. but his girlfriend that he was cheating with, she's buried in there with him.
Really?
Hmm. So
Has,
we were we
where
were
did you find this out? You
doing
just put it
the
out to your local, like down to the library and what look up or whatever? Or
pretty much what I do when I start my research. I go on Find a Grave and Billions of Grave. Those are two great apps, websites to go
Mhm.
to, and then I just start from there, and then I go into libraries and other websites and search engines, and I just start digging and all kinds of stuff as well, and then talk to local historians, other librarians, and just try to get as much information as I can. So when I do a segment on a person, I have all the information right there with me, and then we just start going.
So how long do you research?
Uh, Probably a
On
good
the
a
same base,
week.
I guess?
A week probably.
A week?
After we get done with the cemetery, I start doing research on Tuesday.
So how do you pick out who you're gonna research?
I will go on the Find a Grave first, and then I will look at Civil War soldiers, um, any prominent people that was buried there, famous ones, or politicians, or any type of interesting person I can find, and then I
Mhm.
just start researching.
Mm. And then you go and investigate?
Yep.
Or so you do the investigating first? I mean,
Um.
do the
But
research first and then you
yes.
go investigate.
Mm-hmm.
You'll
Yeah.
go to so you go there with all this information,
Yep.
so you know who it is that you're trying to connect with, so you're, like,
Mm-hmm.
asking you have, like, specific questions
Yes. Yeah.
to that family.
Pretty much. Yeah. Because
Well, that's pretty cool. So do you find that you get more interactions, recordings, EVPs when you do it that way?
I think so. We've gotten a lot of words, sentences type things, and then I know my buddy Drew has a couple of REM pods, and he does his little setup around the perimeter of the headstone, and we say some questions, and then we get a response here and there.
Mhm.
Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. It's a hit and miss.
It's interesting because, all of my years of investigating, you you go back and forth with should you research the place beforehand or should you not? Like if you're researching beforehand, are you going in there with
Hmm.
this but really you guys are when you go into a location, you're kind of investigating to say, hey, who's here, what's going on. When
Pretty
you're in
much.
the cemetery, you're going there with the intention to try to connect with one certain family, not as anybody here.
Hmm.
So in that sense of it, I guess that makes sense, and I think that's pretty damn smart.
Oh yeah. Um, I enjoy doing research, just looking up stuff, finding all kinds of interesting things on people. That's what I enjoy doing. Right now, I'm working on a project on the 10th Michigan, trying to locate every soldier's grave site, and then I'll write them down and I will send it over to the 10th Michigan regiment that I belong with and give that to them for research stuff.
Hmm.
So, as of right now, I got information on every Civil War soldier that fought for the state of Michigan, started from cavalry, artillery, and infantry, sharpshooters, all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
That took me a while, and I got to thank the University of Michigan Library for that one.
That's
They were the ones that really helped me get everything that I need to do. I got them all in binders, in alphabetical order, and everything. So
That's impressive.
I think I showed you a picture of all the binders down in my basement one
Mhm.
time.
Mhm. That was amazing. I think it's I mean, I hope that, you know, people after you will appreciate all your research. You know what I mean? And how well you've kept it organized and, this and that, which I should probably call on you to help me with my ancestry.
I'll be more than happy to.
I've been stumped. And I got frustrated. You start to go down a rabbit hole,
Hmm.
like because I find this type of research very difficult because you're kind of relying on what other people have put into or written on a document, you know? So my ancestors, half of them come from Italy, half of them come from Germany. You know,
Hmm.
my dad's side comes from Germany in the 1700s. I found out I was a daughter of the Revolution. Then, you know, but they're coming over with some like my last name was Kerper, but there were some Koerper. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh well, somebody must have just written the wrong thing down, or maybe they took the O off after they came into the United States and then settled, you know, went to Pennsylvania. So my whole family is my dad's side is from all Pennsylvanians, you know, or so um
Yeah, it's the same thing with my family. My dad's side, they were all came from Poland, and my last name was longer than it is now. We had Z's in our last name, and then when they came over here, they tried to be as American as possible, so they took the Z's out. So,
how could you fit any more like you only have two vowels in your name.
right.
So this is interesting. I can't believe you do this much research. Like, do you ever find yourself going down rabbit holes? Do you have to ever talk to family members?
Oh yes, yeah. I go through.
Yeah.
I go on. I find dead ends all the time, and it just drives me nuts. And then I won't stop until I get that information or find that lead. There's a lot of times I'm stumped. There's nothing I can find on certain people and certain stuff.
Mhm.
So it drives me nuts, but it's pretty much it's life of a researcher. Sometimes you are successful, and sometimes you're not.
So with those, so you found that when you do it this way, when you're investigating this way and your intent is to connect with a certain person in a location, you feel that you get more activity, evidence, whatever, EVPs and stuff doing it that way than you would just walking in and just openly doing an
Right.
investigation.
Hmm.
No.
Yep. Definitely.
Well, you know, we do kind of get some history of the place, but you know, with a lot of the places where they do events and everything, we'll just, and I'm not saying anything bad about them. I love all these places, but Rolling Hills, Eastern State, you know, Penhurst, you know, all those types of places, all the mansions and this, like everybody has history, but you don't know exactly 100% what is true and what's not true,
Right.
you know, and you know, that's the sucky part about it with stuff like that, you know.
Hmm.
Um, hey Meg, one of my peaches, um, one of my besties actually too. She's always my roomie. Poor thing. I don't know how she still wants to room with me when we go away.
Your personality, probably.
It literally looks like a tornado went through the room the first day. It's all nice and neat when I get there. It smells pretty because Meg's always there first, you know. And
Hmm.
she'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to be in the vendor room." Blah blah blah. And I get in the room and I'm like, "Oh my god, it smells so good in here." And then I'll, you know, get ready, whatever good is it. And then it's like literally 6 hours later. Whatever. Well, like it looks like literally a tornado went through there. It's crazy. Anyway, um, I get distracted very easily. Sorry.
I don't think you do.
So you're so nice. You always ever I always put I hate I never rewatch my shows, hardly ever. I can't stand my voice. I was like, oh, he sounds so stupid. Um,
I don't know why you keep saying that.
I know it's really bad.
Okay,
Um,
whatever.
so now have you investigated or did anything? I know you don't get to Gettysburg as often as I do. Um, but have you done reenacting and have you done stuff like that in Gettysburg?
Yeah, I've actually camped on the battlefield with my Civil War regiment.
Now,
Uh,
are they all open to the paranormal stuff?
Not really.
So
Some are,
reading
some are
actors are
not.
a no-no to talk to, is what you're telling me.
Some aren't. It's a touchy subject. So
Why?
just like when you go up to a Civil soldier and they want to, and you ask about the monuments or the political stuff or or the monuments and all that. So it's a touchy subject. So some are into the paranormal, some are not. I mean, just got to have an open mind, and some are not.
So do they know you and they know that you're into it?
No, not really.
Well, they might now.
I got a few that does, but
Mhm.
when I started 20 years ago, silver reenacting, I was with the 24th Michigan. We would camp right in the battlefield next to the Pennsylvania Monument, and it's just surreal, just literally camping right on the battlefield.
I can't
Uh,
even imagine. My mind would be blown.
oh, it's interesting. I mean, you be sleeping, and then all of a sudden you just
They should
wake up.
allow that. Like, they should allow for people to be able to, like, pay a certain amount of money. They could get background checked and stuff and just let people pitch a tent and, like, in the places, like, where the Boy Scouts do it, like you said, near the Pennsylvania Monument or, places if they can do it, why can't I pay to do it?
Well, we wouldn't get you off away from the 20th Maine.
It's true. So, have you ever had an experience camping out in any of the battlefields that you and this doesn't have to be just Gettysburg, but, I mean, have you ever had any experiences doing that?
Uh,
Literally living history. You guys to make those tents and you're, like, living how they actually lived. So, how is that not conjuring and I'm not using conjuring as a bad word, but how is that not making anything kind of spark?
Uh, we did. I have heard stuff, and mostly, let's say, I was walking around in the wheat field in my uniform, and I would pick up cigar smells,
Mhm.
cigars, and all that, and I would look around like there's no one around here, but had a distinct smell like someone was there around me. And then one time I was up on Little Round Top and just walking in, and then all of a sudden I just smelled this pungent odor that it made me just um, almost like get sick to my stomach. I mean,
Mm,
it just smelled so rancid, so horrible. And then
really?
and I talked to my other reenactor guy. I'm like, "Do you smell?" He's like, "No, I don't smell anything." I'm like, It's just a smell that was like um, it was just horrible, and I figure that it was from the bodies of the dead soldiers around. I mean
You
that
think it
smell.
probably oh, you thought so it smelled like something dead?
Yeah,
Now, what's interesting about that is if it was a dead animal, your friend would have smelled it too.
right. But it was in broad daylight, and there was spectators around us, other people, but it for some reason it picked up on me. I don't know why. I was the only one that smelled it.
Hmm,
And I had people around me saying, "Do you smell anything? Or you smell anything different?" And they're like, "No." And then it lingered around for like a good 2 minutes.
wow,
I mean, I will never forget that. I was next to the 83rd Pennsylvania when that happened.
wow. That's I've never smelled it. I did smell like, at my first time like, one of my first experiences there, I did think I smelled like my mom fart. Like, it smelled like a really like an egg type of a smell, but
Hmm.
not what you're describing. Like, I would be able to
No, no,
handle smelling an egg.
right, but no, it's hard to describe. It was just it was just bad.
Have
I
you
mean,
smelled anything like that after?
no, I have not. It was just that one time.
Ever in your entire life?
Hmm.
It's funny, I when I was walking back there, but I've smelled it a couple of times now, so now I'm starting to lean more towards maybe it might be a natural thing that I'm smelling, and I just don't know where it's coming from, but it smells like maple syrup when you first start walking back to the trail to go to the 20th Main Monument.
Huh. Okay.
So I looked it up because I said, "Why am I smelling syrup?" Or like maple, like from the tree, like this, like honey syrupy smell. And I looked up and then the soldiers would use like sap sometimes or syrup from like the maple, like the thickness to close their wounds if they couldn't get medical attention. So they would try to use that, I guess. I had to dig hard for that fact. So I
Yeah,
don't know how
that's
true that
uh,
is.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. I've never heard anything like that.
And several people say that, so that's why I said, like, and I know I had to dig a little deep for that, so because I kept saying, "Why am I smelling this?" And then I'm like, I also did like, oh, if you combine two things back then, like, would they smell like that, or something? And I was like trying to
Hmm.
figure it, but then again, then when I went again, a couple more times after that, I smelled that again. So I was like, well, maybe it's something natural. So why would I smell it twice?
Hmm.
You know,
Other times on the battlefield, I would hear drums. A lot of
snare drums.
yes,
I have some
I,
EVPs of snare drums.
I would hear drums around Peach Orchard. I was walking around by the First Minnesota, and I heard distinct drums, and that was like at 11:30 at night. And they tend to not want you to walk around the battlefield late at night because they don't want you to do anything. They think do anything stupid or whatever. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do anything. So I just walk around. I was like 100 yards away from the campsite, and then I just heard drums.
That's so cool. I heard them before.
Hmm. And
It's
then
it's cool.
another time, I heard a dog barking, and this was a true story because when General Barksdale um, was in Gettysburg, he had his dog with him, I believe. And then when he died, his dog was trying to locate him, and that was like some kind of a true story there. So sometimes
Mhm.
we hear dog barking
Oh,
right by
really?
the Excelsior Field where Barksdale's men opposed General Sickles' guys.
Where's this at?
The Excelsior Field right next to Peach Orchard.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay.
Yeah, where you can see the so-called monument where General
Yep.
Sickles was supposed to have his bust on there, but he's the only one that actually stole money from his own monument.
Yeah. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
No, that's General Sickles for you.
But he just wasn't a good person all or like he wasn't a good guy altogether, right?
He was a political general. He didn't go to West Point. He just did it just for the fame and fortune.
Yeah. So w- what would be the coolest thing that do you think that you get more I would be invest I would have a recorder on the entire time I was reenacting, first of all. I would have a recorder on the entire time.
Well, we can get you a uniform.
I would love to do that. No, I don't wanna reenact, I just wanna get on the battle because you guys aren't really actually doing well, in Gettysburg, you don't do it on the battlefield. You people give the farms up and stuff,
Yeah,
but
we,
still,
we do like we do living histories. We do drills. We do firing demonstrations, but actual reenacting, no, we haven't. We don't do that.
mhm.
The Rangers literally um, will check our gear, check our ammo, and just go through it from fine tooth comb, making sure we have like the standard 30 rounds, 40 caps, and make sure it's all counted for and everything. They're really picky,
Are they?
very.
And are you allowed to walk with um, your weapons and stuff like that? Are you allowed to be in the parks with them, even if they're
We can, but we cannot have any ammo in our cartridge boxes. No caps, nothing. We can have a. I've done it several times in my Verdane uniform. I would have my uniform, my gun, everything up, and I'll just stand up a little round top and I'll answer questions. But I've had a couple rangers be like, "You have ammo?" Nope, and they'll search it and they're like, "Okay, you're good."
interesting?
Hmm.
So Farmer Bindor said, "I live right in the middle of a Civil War battlefield in Richmond, Kentucky." That just sounds cool. Richmond, Kentucky. Um,
Yeah,
that's
I
really
think
cool.
Kentucky has like about 9 battlefields. The biggest one is Perryville battlefield, which that's pretty cool. That one's interesting.
Yeah, have you been?
Yes,
So do you find that do you investigate when you go to battlefields or do you just stick with history?
stick with history.
See, but that's the thing. I think that's the problem. Like with the reenactors, the people that are like all these Gettysburg pictures and more and Gettysburg visions, the historians, they don't like to admit that there's stuff lingering there. as Joshua Chamberlain said there would be.
There's several battlefield tour guides that does just does not like paranormal groups, paranormal investigators, people coming in at dark with their paranormal gear, EVPs and stuff. They just despise that. There's one that does not like stuff because, well, he keeps on saying that there's no such thing as ghosts. I mean, he just despises everything
Oh,
paranormal, ghost, and whatnot.
why? Why is he so mean? Why is he mean about it?
He's I don't know. I mean, he's a good guy, but he has a high ego,
Now,
and
do you defend it, or do you just keep quiet? Like, do you just not say anything?
I don't say anything.
Hmm.
I just laugh and I'm like, okay, whatever. He's a skeptic, and he just doesn't want
Well,
to. He
that's like,
doesn't want to have an open mind.
yeah. Well, not all skeptics are like that, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's just somebody that is like, I call them. They're just non-believers. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, they're
that
just not.
and he does not like the triangular field story because he thinks that's a joke. Because if you walk in a triangular field, you're with uh, equipment, anything mechanical, it's going to you're going to lose battery, you're going to lose charges, and lose everything because I guess it has electric magnet field or whatever. I mean,
Really?
depends on yeah.
Hmm.
That's why I mean that's why they call it triangular field. It's I don't know. I've gone in there several times with cameras, camcorders, my phone, and nothing happens.
Yeah, me too. That's never happened. It's never happened for me
And
either.
some people does happen, but it just depends on the time of day, I guess. But that's the myth that if you walk in there, all your equipment is just going to go haywire or dead batteries or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's been some pretty cool stuff that's come out of triangular field,
Hmm.
evidence-wise, that I've either heard or seen, but, I personally have never had anything happen while I was there, ever. Um, but I had one thing happen at Pickett's Charge, but on the Union side of it, so the angle,
Hmm.
basically. Um, Culp's Hill, I've had several things happen. But I do go there too because I feel very connected with something in that area. I don't know what, but
What part of Culpsville?
if you go back behind it, like if you go to Kelpsville, you know where the tower is.
Hmm.
If you were to like walk straight past the tower and then go down the hill behind it,
Oh, right by the 66 Ohio Monument, I believe.
yeah, that one. I'm just
Huh.
gonna take your word for it. um, but
I
that
could be wrong, but it's been a while since I took the guide exam.
but you know what's interesting? I don't go to the two places that I've gotten pictures at.
Really?
Ever. I have never been there to do it. Once I did an EVP session, but that was like no, that was after. So one time I did an EVP session at the railroad cut where I got the apparition photo, but the place where I got that mist, um, I never go to, but I never go to those places to do any investigating. Now, first of all, the railroad cut is privately owned. I'm just finding out. You're not
Hmm.
allowed to go in there.
Yeah, I found that out too.
I know. I had no idea. I would run amok on those railroad tracks
Oh yeah.
all the time, every time I would
Yeah.
go there.
You're not the only one. I've done it too.
But I had no idea. And then they're like, "Well, it is an active railroad too, you know? They don't
Hmm.
want anybody to get hit by a train," which makes sense. But
Right.
um, anyway, so I never go to those places, but I have had almost. I didn't smell cigar smoke, but I asked a question at the wheat field asking if they wanted some smoking tobacco, and I got a cough, and then called the B word, but I don't think they used language like that back then. Did they?
Yeah, they swore back then. Yes.
They said bitch though? Like bitch was a word?
That I'm not sure of. I know they swore. I know there were swear words, but I'm not sure when that word came in about. That I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm trying to like
I
why
they I know a lot of soldiers said the F word was around during that time, and then
oh,
some
was it?
yeah,
So the F word was around.
yes.
Oh, so maybe bitch was.
It-
I mean,
yeah, that.
it is a female dog technically, but
Hmm.
I mean, like Megan said, I got a very clear what the fuck was that from Farnsworth. That's cool. Yeah, he just said fuck was around. The F word. Sorry. Um, I never got anything. Let me think. I'm trying to think. Like, so in the park, so Culp's Hill, I got something. Um, I still have to listen to my audio from when I was just there. So I don't know about walking around Eisenhower Farmhouse and stuff. Whatever. I have to listen to all that stuff.
Yeah, that's one place I've never been to. All my years in Gettysburg, I've never been to Eisenhower or the Sachs Bridge.
You have to go to Eisenhower.
Yeah, after your live stream there, or your it looks pretty interesting.
Oh, it's so cool there. Um, and the fact that you can walk around and like like everything that's there, it was his. The family just left everything to the National Park Service. I
It's
mean,
like a time capsule.
it's a time capsule. His cars are in there, everything. It's so cool. But yeah, but I would go when the house is open so you can, tour inside the house too.
Hmm.
Um, but also I always get weirded out by the one New Jersey monument, the one that's up in the hill and it's the biggest. It's like real tall. It stands real tall, high up. Um,
Oh
I,
yeah, that one there, close to the Pennsylvania Monument.
yes,
That you have to like go up a hill. That's
yes.
like. Hmm.
Yeah, so that one there. So mine are all odd little places. It's not like the big ones like Devil's Den and, although I do get a lot from Little Round Top though. But I have a connection with Little Round Top. So
A little
I do.
connection.
What?
A little connection.
Yeah, a lot. It's really crazy. I did
How do you
find
feel with Little Round Top being closed for 18 months?
I am scared to death of it. Like I know it has to happen, but
Hmm.
for 2 summers not being able to go there and see the sunset. Like, I know there's other places in Gettysburg that we can go, you know what I mean, to
Right.
see
Of
to see.
course, yeah. But that's
Um,
like the prime area for sunsets. Yeah.
I have my rock and that's just my zen, and that's the biggest thing when I go there, that's always on my agenda every day. If the sun's shining and there's gonna be a sunset, I don't care if I'm there for 10 days and 10 days in a row, I go watch the sunset. That's what I'm doing every the whole entire time I'm there. Once in a while, I might miss it when they do the 100 Nights of Taps in the National Soldiers Cemetery. Because I'll go see that one night because I love it. But that's it.
Yeah. Every time I get into Gettysburg, I always got to see the 24th Michigan Monument. That's usually my first place to go to, and then I'll be there for a little bit and then start heading my way.
So the Peaches got me a brick in the square in Gettysburg.
Hmm.
So it'll be, put in November. So that's what Megan's talking about, I mean, I cried. So I cried for days. I still couldn't believe it for weeks that they had actually did this. It was such a thoughtful and sentimental gift. Like, forever my name is going to be on the streets in Gettysburg.
Well, ain't you the Queen of Gettysburg, anyways?
No. Well, I would like to be. Everybody's like, I was like, if I ever won lottery for a lot of like more millions like everything, I was like, I'd just buy Gettysburg. You can't buy town. I'm like, I would just buy it.
I can see you doing that.
Oh my god, if it was possible. I would do it. Um, so I'm surprised that you feel you get so you're saying you feel you get more doing the cemetery investigations the way you do them than you do when you're doing like full blown, living history reenactment stuff.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, yeah, we do other things. They do. Our guys do buildings. I'm not much into buildings unless it's like really historical. I'm more into the cemeteries. To me, it's it, it's something. It's more interesting. It's challenging, and it's a whole lot. I just prefer it than buildings. I don't know why. Some of them are like, well, buildings are awesome and insane asylums. I just don't do those. Just never got into them. So. Will I go to one? Maybe, but no. I just rather just do cemeteries or battlefields or anything. Anything like outdoor style, I would do instead of inside.
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah, we're going to do um, a theater tomorrow. I mean, it's one of the oldest buildings here in South Bend. It's celebrating their 100th anniversary. So this it's going to be completely unknown. I haven't really got much like just more history of the building itself, but anything famous happened there, any murders, deaths, nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can find. They do have a ghost light that's put up during the evening time, right in the middle of the stage. It's like a more of a myth or legend that for past performers, they want to keep the lights always there just to keep the performers there happy and all that. So we're
Oh, like
gonna
the stage is always lit for them.
correct, yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Hmm.
The old theaters are really neat. The architecture, the painting, like the way they did everything, the seating, they're
Hmm.
just you walk in there and you can feel the history inside of those things.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we're looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Megan has a question. Do you feel the spirits respond more to males or females in Gettysburg?
That is a really good question. Uh, I would probably say more of the males than females.
You think?
I would think so.
Well,
But
back
then,
then they didn't really have much respect for women, did they really? I mean, in the sense of, I mean, why wouldn't they talk to? Because you would think they would. I always feel like they would talk to females more.
I don't know that again. It's not. That's a good question. I mean, it
Although
could be a toss up.
you being in uniform
Hmm.
might get more responses. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because that's familiar to them.
Hmm.
And I feel like you being in dressed in your reenacting gear and stuff. That's why I can't believe that you don't hear more stories from your reenacting buddies that of having experiences. You know what I mean? Like I can't believe that isn't something because how isn't that like I don't know, creating something you're literally living the way they lived during the battle. You know what I mean? And I don't know. You just don't hear any stories come from any of the reenacting stuff, or the living history when
Well,
you're
I guess a lot of reenactors try to keep it to themselves because a lot of people don't understand why we do this. Some are like, okay, you guys are nuts running around in 90-degree heat wearing wool uniforms and all that. So, I mean, I guess someone just has to come up.
says the people that don't go watch them, but the people that go to see them love them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I used to go to the reenactments every year in Gettysburg. Every year I went, and I would stay for 9 days because the reenactments took up 4 days.
Hmm.
And the guys were out there the whole time and literally cooking with an iron pot and
Hmm.
fire and just living the way they were living while they were fighting, and it was like,
Oh, yeah.
how is that not sparking anything to happen, you know?
I mean, I'm sure it has from other reenactors, but I just think you just have to go up to a reenactor and ask them if they experienced anything. So, I mean, I guess it's just a personal thing for reenactors to keep it to themselves, or some of them will divulge in it, like I do. I'm like, okay, I'll talk about it. Don't bother me. So,
What would you say was your crazy experience in that type of a situation?
uh, like all around, or just in Gettysburg, or
Well, I
what?
mean, at any battlefield, or let's say if you took all the times that you were doing the reenacting stuff and you had something happen while you were doing all that. You know what I mean?
Uh, there was one incident that I was in my uniform in Antietam, which that's my other favorite battlefield. It's pretty cool.
Not
I
far from
was,
Gettysburg.
yeah, uh, I was walking around by a Miller's cornfield, and I was with the 24th at that time, and just walking around, and then I felt like a presence just watching me,
Mhm.
and I was just by myself, and it was like um it was getting dusk. It was getting dark out, and I don't know. I just felt that presence, that someone was just watching me. Like, just I don't know what, but I just
Were
had
you
that.
in uniform when you had that smell?
Yes,
Hmm,
I was.
interesting. This just gave me an idea. Maybe when I investigate there next time, I'm gonna dress up like a lady from that time.
You can. Oh,
I'm
see what?
wondering if that might increase or help up, with some of the energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, why not? I mean, dress up in a dress and rock around Gettysburg in
I
town.
mean, I wouldn't do it for spectator people because they would come up and ask me a question. I'd be like, "I have no idea. I don't ask me any questions. I'm here just to investigate. I'm using myself as bait, basically."
Right. That's one thing. When you wear the uniform, you will get bombarded by questions
Oh,
by
really?
by a ton of people.
Maybe I'll just bring one I can throw over my clothes or something at nighttime. So it kinda looks like because actually when we were where was I? That might have been Gettysburg. It was Gettysburg, and we were live, me and Kayla were somewhere, and I had my park on, and so it looked like it kinda resembled a dress
Hmm.
because it was, like, all one thing, and she had jeans on, and we heard an EVP say something about, like, the dress or something like that, and I go, "The dress?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So it was like they were seeing it as a dress, so it wouldn't matter if it really did look the part, I could just throw a dress over me
Oh, sure.
and, you know, see where it gets me.
Or just have like a blue hoodie, and then just get a Union hat or a kepi,
Oh,
and
yeah, I can do that.
see what you can get with that too. I mean, you don't have to like wear the full blown uniform or dress. Just wear something that resembles what the soldiers wore, and see what you can get from that.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna do it next time.
Hmm. But yeah, when I'm in uniform, I get bombarded by questions, especially when I'm in my Burdan uniform. They see a person in green. I get because not too many people knows what the Burdan sharpshooters are. Every time they see green, they're like, "Oh, you Irish Brigade?" I'm like, no. Hiram Burdan wanted distinct green so we can blend into the foliage during the summertime. It's like the very first version of camouflage,
Oh, cool.
and a lot of the spectators and people does not know what Burdans were. And so it's like, oh, okay. So they start doing research on 'em, or even the Zouaves, the ones that dress as all in red. Not too many people knows about that either. It's more just blue and gray. So,
Yeah. I didn't know there was an eclipse tonight. When is this
um,
happening? Like, is there a time frame on this thing? I didn't even know this. How come I didn't know this?
I heard something about that, but it's raining here. I don't think I can
No, it's not
sleep yet.
raining here. I had no idea. It's happening right now? Stop. Mark, you knew this?
I knew something about it. I just haven't been watching the news lately.
I can't believe this. I even said I go because when I was driving home, I waited. I worked today, and I was driving home, and I looked behind me. I could see the moon. It was huge. I was like, "Oh my god, the moon looks gorgeous." Is it almost done, or did it just start? Oh, this is bad. Well, let's go see. You want to come? Let's go. Let's see. Mark. Sorry, Mark.
What?
We're gonna go check it. We're gonna go check it out.
I don't know if I'll be able to. It's like raining out.
No. I'm gonna bring you outside with me.
Oh, okay. I'll just sit here then.
I mean, you can go outside.
Oh, that's fine.
Let's go outside and see it. Oh, it's cloudy AF here. It's very cloudy. You know why it's cloudy? Because there's something cool happening. Where's the moon at? Where would the moon be here? Can't see. Let's go up front. It might break up because my internet is crappy. Am I still good?
Yeah, you're fine.
I don't know where the moon would be, but it's. Oh, yeah, it's covered in clouds. It's called a what? Yeah, but is it still happening? 11 Eastern. All right, well, I guess we'll have to check and watch that too. I'm going to come back out here because the clouds look like they're moving, but I don't see the moon anywhere, which sucks. Well, Mark, and to all of the people watching, thank you so much for joining us. Mark, it's been very interesting. And I
Been
didn't
an
know you.
hour already?
Yeah, I know, right?
Jeez, this feels like we just
Um,
started.
I didn't know you do so much research and stuff. I'm gonna have to, like I picked Kenny's brain. I said, now I'm gonna have to pick your brain next time
Oh,
I uh need help with something. Now I know I have two good resources.
I'll be more than happy to help you.
That's awesome. Hold on, I gotta put my light on because I got excited about this thing. Okay, but yes, I'm looking at it. Oh, hi, Steve. Dom's gonna send me he said he sent me shitty moon pic. Hopefully the clouds will move so I can see it. But this was very interesting. Dom actually does. You might like his show. He does a show called Grave Guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that? Have you followed that on YouTube and stuff?
I haven't, but I will definitely check it out.
So they go to graves, and they like they'll clean up the cemeteries and stuff. So they go live on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, and I think Twitch. I think, and they show people how to like clean the graves and everything. They'll go to really old cemeteries and stuff. So you should check it out. It's really interesting.
Oh, I'll definitely check it out. Which cat is that behind you?
That's my Apollo.
Oh,
That's my first. This was my first. I got him when he was only three months old, and he'll be 13 in September.
yeah, I got mine behind me.
I saw. Yep. I love black cats. So,
Yeah, she's a rescue.
Yeah, all mine are for
Yep,
sure.
found her in a abandoned barn, half dead, when she was just a little kitten.
Aw, oh,
So,
poor baby. Well, thank God you found her.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Um,
now she's what, 9, 10 years old now.
aw.
Yep.
Yeah, they're a handful. But I want to thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you check out Grave Guys because you'll like
Oh,
that. And
definitely.
Dom, if you're still watching, you should talk to Mark. He does he does lots of research on cemeteries. He said he has every Civil War soldier
In the state of Michigan that
in the
fought.
state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And he has it in. Oh, he is here. Okay, so yeah, that's all. That's awesome. You could probably do a show on that.
If I only had time.
That's true. That's true. Your hours suck.
Yeah, with that and other stuff going on, I just don't have time.
Yeah. That stinks because like when you do have time, you should do it. You should do a show where you go through your book of all your research and talk about what you found. You have enough for like 2 years worth of shows right there. That would be cool. You talk about like, you could do like, um, soldier appreciation with Scygiel. It's a good idea.
Oh, it is interesting. There's one soldier that I did research on with the 24th. Survived the whole battlefield, the whole battle, the whole war. Moved to Kansas only to get killed by a tornado.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like that's just like um Culp, how he left Gettysburg to fight with the Confederates,
Hmm.
only to come back to Gettysburg, and he supposedly is shot and killed on his family farm.
Nope, that didn't. That's not true.
That's not true.
It's not true.
That's a myth. Where was he?
Yep.
Where was he killed?
He was killed in Wolf's Hill, right by the Lost Lane in Gettysburg. It's right behind Culp's Hill, right by
So
it.
so it was near it.
It was near it, but there's a lot of myths, legend, because they found his butt of his rifle that had W Culp on it, Ron Culp's Hill, and a lot of people thought that he was with 7th Virginia, I believe, and there's no Virginia regiments that fought in Culp's Hill. There were more in Walker's Brigade, the old Jackson's Brigade there, and they
Yeah, but when
fought
they
in.
went back to Gettysburg, would there be a chance that maybe he went home?
Uh, there's so many myths about. I mean, getting to battle Gettysburg is the most controversial battlefields during the Civil War. There is so much out there.
Oh my gosh, why haven't we been talking about this?
Because,
We're gonna have to do another show.
like I said, I can talk your head off on the battle the whole night. So, but yeah, that's a whole different story there. But yeah, they say Wesley Culp is still buried on the battlefield by Wolf's Hill.
Oh yeah, I heard that there are rumors that he's still buried there.
Yeah,
But why wouldn't they just bury him? I heard that he was buried on his family's farm.
that's another legend too. I mean,
Why wouldn't they bury him where he was from?
that I have no idea. I mean, will we ever find where his body? Probably not. But is he buried on the battlefield? I'm sure it is. Whereabouts? We don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, why wouldn't if the Park Service doesn't allow people to do relic hunting, which okay, I get, but why wouldn't
Hmm.
they do it?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Why wouldn't they go out there with the radars and stuff like that to find stuff or find, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that part. Like, okay, you don't want people doing it. Well, why to get the history and stuff like that? Why aren't you doing it?
Right.
Maybe they are. I
Uh,
don't know.
it could. I mean, I'm sure there's people that's done it. I mean, there's so many remote areas of the battlefield that people can probably do it
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
true.
like,
But on
uh,
a disclaimer, we're not telling anybody to do it.
right? Yeah, there's 23 square miles of battlefield there, so it's, I mean,
Gettysburg is what?
uh,
23? You said
yeah,
23?
yeah, 23 miles of battlefield.
Wow.
So it's huge. It's big. It's
I didn't know that. 23 is my number. That's my number.
so a Michael Jordan fan then.
Oh, no. That was my dad's badge number.
Okay, even better.
So the number 23
Hmm.
has been my number, so I see it all the time. It's like one of those things that just always pops up, 23, 23, 23, 23. Maybe I'm looking for it subconsciously, but I never knew that Gettysburg was 23 miles.
Hmm. It's the largest battlefield in the state. Second is Chancellorsville.
Oh, the 23rd is Dom's birthday. Say we're kindred spirits.
Hmm.
Um, that's funny. Well, I will let you go. I know you're busy. I've had you for an hour and 5 minutes, and I know that you have a lot going on. So I
Oh,
appreciate
not
it. Next
not
time
at
you
this
come on,
time.
though, the next time you come on, though, I want to talk about all the stories and conspiracies of Gettysburg. That would be an awesome show to have.
Oh, sure, yeah. I got quite a few that
How about
I've
we
been.
d how about we plan on that? So that gives you some time to, like, write down some things that you wanna talk about, because I don't know any of the controversies. Like, I know Little Round Top has a couple, um,
Only a
but
couple.
well, to me, I mean, the ones that I heard, you know, it's like
Yeah, Round Top Park and the casino that happened on the big Little Round Top.
the what?
Round Top Park that had a casino, had a brothel, prostitution house, and all that stuff.
It did?
Hmm.
Like, for sure?
For sure, yeah. Round Top Park. Yep.
When was that?
That was in what turn of the century, almost for 1900. Is that like late 1800s when William Tipton decided to turn Devil's Den, Little Round Top, into a amusement park?
Did you hear that? How come I never knew this?
Yeah, I'm surprised. That's why I have. That's why I do really do not like William Tipton as much because he turned Valley of Death, Little Round Top, Devil's Den into a small amusement park. He had a photo photography booth right next to the Trough Rock, and he had the trolley was in there and everything. It was yeah. So that's
And when
why I'm
did
not.
it get taken
That's why I'm
down?
not a fan of William Tipton.
When
Do
did
not
it
like
get
him at all.
taken down?
Huh?
Were
They
there
took the
were there
trolley
were there
out. Like,
structures?
yeah, there's structures. Yep, there's pictures.
What?
Yep, there's pictures of Mr. Tipton next to the
How come I've never seen these
Tipton.
on here?
They called it. He called it Tipton Park. Uh, so yeah.
I'm gonna have to look this up now.
Oh yeah. There's pictures of them. There's a picture of the.
Mark, we have to
Uh,
set another date for you to come back on so we can talk about all this stuff, because this is the stuff, like, I would love to talk about this. We'll call it Gettysburg Mysteries or something,
I
And
can talk
then
about it right now if you like. I don't. I mean,
well, I want it to be that focus.
all right, I know about 10 controversies right now.
All right, hit them. Say it.
Well, you got the Tipton Park, you got the trolley, you got Round Top Park.
What was
Uh,
Round
you,
Top Park?
that's what I was talking about with the casino and all that on top of the battlefield on top, close to. It was more on the northern side of the battlefield.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Dom, will they bring the brothel back for history's sake?
Oh yeah, General Sickles was a frequent flyer at the brothel there.
I can't believe there was a brothel in Little Round Top.
Yeah, more on the other side of Little Round Top there. Another one on Little Round Top is where the Oates' Rock was at, where his brother got killed at. That's a huge controversy between General William Oates, Colonel Oates, and Colonel Chamberlain. They argued all the time because Colonel Oates wanted a monument in favor for his brother and how far the Alabamians opposed 20th May. And Chamberlain didn't like where it was at because he was like, no, you guys did not get this far inside my line.
Oh, well, you know what? That's the thing I heard. And I said, so what? I was like, first of all, none of us were there. So who knows really what was said and wasn't. That's like he said, she said. That's like drama now, Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it- I understand him not wanting, but that doesn't make him any less of a deserved Purple Heart, right? He got the medal. No, he got the Medal of Honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make him any less deserving of that. He still held the line,
Right. He did.
So, and then somebody said that they didn't hear him yell bayonets. I'm like, okay, there's all this chaos and ruckus going on. Men are being literally blown to shreds, like right next to you. And you're going to say, well, I didn't hear him yell bayonets. And that's going to be like a make or break whether Chamberlain deserve, like, you know what I mean? Like, deserve the recognition he got.
Right. Just like him with the swinging of the door type. Another controversy. Did that happen? A lot of soldiers said no. They just charged down.
Right. But
That was
maybe that was his
that
plan.
was his plan. Yeah, that was his
Yeah.
plan.
So why can't he say that?
So that was his plan. But did it go through? Some say yes. Some said no.
And maybe he thought that's what everybody did.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I thought he ordered a charge, but
Yeah, he did. So it was just a matter of how it got.
can you imagine in that moment though? Like, think about that moment, right? First of all, you got your leader telling you fix bayonets. You're like the Confederates are double the size of what you have. You have no ammo,
Mm-hmm.
and he's talking about fix bayonets and charge. You think you're gonna die.
Right.
Can you imagine like what's going and even for him to make that decision, to put his men in, you're trying their thing is to protect their men, and he's putting them out there to be sacrificed, basically. You know what I mean? Is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure is what was going through his head. And he's probably like, at the very least, we slowed him down.
Right.
You know, um, and here something remarkable happens. But in that moment, how can one person say what was honestly 100% the truth of what was going on up there, especially when it's stuff like that?
Right. Definitely.
Because that's to me is just like little shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at the big picture of it, he deserves the recognition that he got. You can't argue that.
Right. Definitely.
But you know a lot more about that stuff than I do, so
I don't know about that.
we'll do Gettysburg conspiracies. We'll do a show about that because I'm very interested in it. So we're gonna have to set up another spooky Sunday.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them that a lot of people has heard of, and some have not. I'm not sure if you've done a lot on the first day of battle. You with that one monument, I think the 143rd Pennsylvania, Ben Crippen with his fist on the monument.
Oh,
Not sure.
really?
Yeah, there's it's right on Emmitsburg Road, and the story and the monument has the flag bearer Ben Crippen has his fist um, towards the Confederates. Controversy on that one shows, and some say yes, some say he was flipping them off as he was when he was with the flag. So that's another one.
Yeah, we'll have to do this. We'll name it Gettysburg Conspiracies, and we'll talk about it. That'll be the whole show, and we won't talk about nothing else because I'm really interested in this because I don't know it. I'm in my blissful little heaven when I'm there. I don't know about any of the 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 bad stuff.
Oh yeah, General Sickles is huge controversy in the battlefield as well.
I know, but I don't know exactly 100% what it is. So we'll have to have another show.
No, we can do a whole show just on General Sickles.
Well, I'm sure Custer too, I heard wasn't a very I like to watch stuff about World War II. Yeah, I'm liking Little Round Top. I love Little Round Top. That's the best. Um, all right. Well, I will let you go. Thank you for joining me so late in the
Oh, no
evening.
problem, Taryn. It's been a pleasure. I needed this anyways. Get
I'm sure.
from work and other issues going on.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you enjoyed and had time to be able to come on. And we basically didn't really get into it, but I that's what I said. Like, I want to have another show. We'll just focus on that, and that'll give some time just to kind of, you know what I mean,
Oh,
get
definitely.
just to hone down on a couple of specifics, and because I know we could talk forever about it.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
but thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on,
Always, Taryn. Always.
and I will talk to you soon.
Looking forward to it.
Good night, everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
Good night, Mark.
Night, Taryn.